8 level. It maintains, sorry. Almost act. Hello, hello. Hear me now. That now. Yeah, the sound is on. Just having a few issues with my mic. Hopefully, that should be a bit better. Yeah. Yeah, I got to play around with the filters. Yeah, apologies for that. So yeah, dollar index. Just to recap, is it pricing in already to what we've already seen? Maybe potentially it could shape up, but in terms of the view that sort of I had, if I just zoom out here and look at this, I mean, from my point of view, we were heavily on the bullish side. Even from a fundamental point of view, most of the indicators were going towards a stronger dollar. However, that sort of maintained short term. Potentially, it's looking like we're getting a significant sell off here. And like I said before, if we maintain this 103.8 level, which it did for some time, came back for mitigation, ran higher, more liquidation, settlements, mitigation, and it's probably pushing lower now. But is that the underlying longer term play to then really drive the market? And what has unfolded last night with the assassination attempt, it was could have been planned. Who knows? Regardless, I'm not too concerned. I just want to know how it's going to affect the charts, pretty much. Um, but in terms of a bearish dollar, it might be coming into play. But like I said, short term liquidations, mitigations, and then continue the overall bullish market anyway. And if I compare that to, let's just jump on over to EU. If I compare that to what's happening on EU, it's seeing that bearish nature coming on the dollar. Yeah, so EU's inversely correlated with the dollar there. So if the dollar index is going down, EU's going up. But I mean, even from the daily point of view, and if I just draw this on here, it's been very range bound. I don't mind trading EU. I prefer trading trending assets, but it's been a very range bound market for quite some time. I mean, even since the start of the year, it's kind of quite range bound. If I could just compare that to like ES or NQ or the DAX German 40, it's somewhat range bound. So just bear that in mind. It is in a range bound market, and adjust your strategy accordingly. But yeah, it's seeing that bearish sort of dollar play out, and it almost looks like it's hunting for, like here, stat liquidity. It's hunting for that potentially. However, if I just plot out some structural points here, now this is daily structural points. We could maintain this, see large liquidations like it is here, and then continue with the bullish nature of the dollar. That is almost what it's looking like, but it's some real strength here coming in from the dollar bears. So yeah, keep that in mind. And is the fact of this, I almost call it a black swan event in the markets, is that going to really drive it in the desired direction? That's my view. It could do that. It could do that. It could drive it see liquidations and drive it in the desired direction. Because even if I just go back to the dollar index here, it's still, from my point of view, we're still maintained within the bullish range. We could see this, however, I'm expecting it to stay maintained in the bullish nature to continue, or at least see liquidations, failure to close, and then continue. That would be a nice play. So yeah, super interesting times. And even let's just flick on over to ES. Heavily bullish. It's been in a bullish market for, I mean, let me just zoom out here. Probably, yeah, since the start of the year, it's been moving up significantly. Now this is the daily time frame, so I mean, it's hella bullish. you know, it's not even, EMA is pretty good. Well, they're okay. I quite like using them on the daily. This is just a 20 EMA. Kind of, I mean, you can use 20, 50, 200, doesn't really matter, but 20 is quite lower sort of figure, and it keeps it closer to price, if that makes sense, like a traveling support line, if you like. And it kind of, like here, it was in a very bullish market. It doesn't really interact. It doesn't really do much with it. It's just so bullish. It doesn't even pull back and then continue. We see that larger pullback here, and that's what I was expecting to happen here. It did do that. The bulls took over again here. Didn't happen. Bulls took over, and it just went. You know, it's not. It can't sustain that sort of price move for long. Like even this here, this price move was probably the similar amount of time. Yeah, I mean that was 2 months, and then like here, we're almost coming up to 2 months potentially, and then it started interacting, and then it took off a bit more. Then we see a little bit more of a sort of bearish pullback here. So it's yeah, interesting to see how it sets up. But again, super bullish, super bullish. Yeah, having issues with the audio, so bear with me there. Hopefully you get them sorted for tomorrow. I'm back on the full live streams, 3 p.m. every day next week. Should be good. So yeah, like I said, you know, ES, even NQ is very similar. I mean, they are almost identical, but I favour ES most of these days. It's seeing very bullish nature. And like I said, it can't sustain that for too long, so I want to see some sort of pullback eventually. This is from a longer term play. When I'm looking at I'll go into intraday in a minute, but I mean from a longer term play, I want to see something like this, and then I'll capitalize more so on the shorts when they present themselves. Like even here, this gave good confirmations of downside momentum. This, nah, didn't give any confirmation of downside momentum. Wicked and then just gone. This break and close, NFT, FT, it just gave good indications of momentum to the downside. This, nah, nothing. And then we've maintained these lows in every sense. So yeah, I'd want to see it shift significantly to look for, you know, a longer term pullback, if that makes sense, that I can capitalize on. But for the short period, definitely bullish. Like even here, and the buys on Friday were very good. But for me, looking ahead for the week, I'm still bullish. Like even here, like we've had B1 breaker structure, but there's no confidence in it. It pushed lower, failed to close, broke the high. So it's failed to go lower, and it continues with the bullish momentum. It's yeah, very bullish. So sometimes you've got to be able to adjust your analysis and just see how it's looking on the charts. You can't be too strict and too by the book sometimes. Like this here, I could say, okay, B1, oh, there's a break of structure here, so I'm not going to be looking for buys. When realistically, this is a trending asset. This wants to go up. I'm going to be looking for buys. That's the way I see it, especially with this sort of move. I mean, let me just pull this back here, and this is what I spoke about in Discord. Even when we had the B1. So this is what I love to see in trending markets like this. It is clean. This sell-off is, let's look at it from a psychological point of view. This sell-off is, it almost tricks people, induces people to almost go short, if that makes sense. Or especially even if you're like an ICT trader, you're looking for an OB or whatever, or you're supply and demand, you're looking for the buy to sell or the OB or the open, like price here, like my target for the buy was here, because it could have reacted from there. However, you know, this is how I like to frame a trade, and this is like high quality trade for myself. You know, higher time frame, underlying market direction is bullish. So when I see these large sell-offs, liquidations occur, especially news-driven ones, I'm going to want to get involved. Even like here, look at this. Large liquidation. Again. So that's even, we sort of tickle the lows here, but then we really commit here, push lower. And this 4-hour candle tells a lot. It gives me a lot of information. That's why I like to say, you know, you can't be too stuck on your ways. You got to be a little bit what's the word, you got to be able to pivot like this here, break a structure, but I'm definitely not looking for sells. Not after that candle printed. And if we just drop down to the 15-minute here, so that candle printed at 2 p.m, wait for the market open, and then it's just gone. Mine was a lower time frame entry, super clean entry. I'll get to that in a minute, but look at this. Even on the 15-minute, it's so clean. Like this here, news driven impulse up, large liquidation. So liquidates highs, liquidates lows, both news driven, or this was news driven certainly, and then this was the sell-off point after that. Asia consolidation, liquidation, and then more news, PPI. It's just the perfect, and then this is my target here, but this is just the perfect sort of buy model for myself inside of a bullish market around news specifically. And this probably happens like twice a month. So, looking for lower time frame entries. You see this here, post news. This was the PPI event, 130. Look at that. It's large liquidation there, big sell-off. Again, adding more ammunition to the fact that we're going to go long. So we're in a very bullish market. We've tricked buyers here, liquidated them. Now we're liquidating sellers. We've induced more people here. Large liquidation. And then lower time frame confirmation. Now this is what I love to see on the lower time frames, and specifically after large high impact news events like NFP, PPI, CPI, and things like that. So I'm looking for exactly the same as what I look on the 15-minute. You know, I want to see a shift in market structure. I want to see a liquidation. I want to see that happen inside of my kill zone, essentially, especially just post that news event. Now this is that key window. Normally, if I'm just trading without these large impact, large news events, you know, I want to wait for that New York Open to print. However, post news event is, or post high impact news event is when I'm going to capitalize on it. So yeah, pretty much looking for exactly the same as what I'd see on 15-minute. Super simple. Now I want to see a shift in market structure, and that's what we get. B1 break of structure, liquidation, entry candle, remitigation. It's so clean, so clean. So break of structure, B1, liquidation here, 141, stops below here around a 5-point stop loss, pushes higher, mitigation. There's even another entry here. I only took one entry, but you could even stack it like there's no 1 minute entry candle there anyway. Big push off, then it comes back for mitigation. There's another entry here, liquidation, probably a 5-point stop, and it just continues with that sort of bullish nature. Now, I didn't enter that trade, however, this one was clean. And let me just pull this back. And this was the target up here. Because, like, yeah, I could have went for 1 to 3, but I knew that this was at least going to target this buy to sell. Yeah? See a liquidation of all of this, and then push higher. So, I'm going to go for that higher RR on this. For sure, definitely. And then, the rest was kind of history. There we go, target achieved. I mean, there's at least probably 30% on that one move there. Now, you could just do that once a month and you're done. Simple. But I'm not going to open up too much risk there because it's still low down. It didn't really commit until like up here, and there was another entry inside here as well. So if you did take any of that, do let me know. Send me the screenshot. It'd be good to see. And then took out the high, putting a new high. Big sell off again, and it's almost rinse and repeat. And NQ, I never took any entries at NQ, but I'm expecting this high to go. Like I said on ES, big sell-off. Equal reaction back to the upside. Large underlying market trend is bullish. So I'm expecting these highs to go. That 21 level is looking to get hit. I mean, there's a reason why this is sold off so aggressively just before the 21,000 level. I mean, it's not a coincidence. So that's what I'll be looking for more so than probably ES. Because it achieved new higher highs. Buys are still favourable for myself. However, NQ for me is probably going to be a bit of a better play. So thanks guys for joining in. It's been great chatting. Apologies for the audio quality and the issues there. I'll hopefully get them fixed before tomorrow. But any questions, drop them in the comments box or message me on Instagram, and I will see you all later.